how to use out of the blue insights to drive action and keep tab on the health of your business. As a user, when you log into your account, you would be presented with a list of observations that out of the blue has identified by analyzing your data. In this instance, you can see we have multiple insights starting from Wednesday, May 21st to May 7th and so on. Now, right off the bat, you can see it tells you when this happened, what has happened, and why it has happened. So on Wednesday, May 7th, 22% spike up observed in visitors for your global store or your global website, which translates into 4,000 more users compared to the daily prevailing trends. And this increase of 4,000 was driven by mainly referrals for new users on iOS and two other factors. In order to see more details about this, simply click anywhere on this card to expand this to see the prevailing trends. Here you can see this is the prevailing trend, and the blue bands that you see around the black lines are the expected ranges based on the prevailing trend in your data. Based on your preferences, the sensitivity of these blue bands can be increased or decreased. So if I hover over this latest point, you can see based on general trends in the data, it was expected to have 17.5 thousand visitors on May 7th. But you received more than that, which was 21.3 thousand visitors. That is a 22% increase, which is also 7% more than the previous day in this case. You can see starting from May 3rd, there has been an upward trend, which is what is displayed on the last point here. Similarly, you can see on April 26th, the number of visitors were lower than what was expected based on the general trend in the data. And there was also a spike up on April 30th based on the general trend of data. To see what was driving this increase, you can simply click on this blue arrow and go to what we call as root cause charts. Here, of this 22% spike up in visitors, 95% was due to referrals and 81% were new users, 61% were coming from iOS, 47% started their journey on the homepage, and 26.7% were primarily from Florida. You can drill in further and see more details about it. For example, in this instance, I want to see what else was responsible for bringing these visitors. So I can simply click on this referral 95% and I can see 95% was from referrals and 24% was from ad campaigns. Whereas email campaigns and organic search negatively impacted this. What I mean by that is, if this were also positive, this percentage increase that you see here might have been higher. So it not only tells you what caused the increase, it also tells you what needs attention so that you can improve that spike up. So in this instance, I want to see which ad campaigns were responsible. So I can simply click on this ad campaigns and I can see CPC clicks. If I click on that, you can see mostly it was driven by Facebook. Similarly, I can also go into email campaigns and see which email campaigns were responsible for it. You currently have only one email campaign and source of that email campaign is Klaviyo. So it indicates the Klaviyo email campaigns may have negatively impacted your overall increase in visitors. Similarly, I can look at which states did visitors come from. So I can simply select states and I can see if beyond all others, Florida is the largest contributor, it seems. And if I click on Florida, I can see individual cities that were responsible for driving that change. In fact, not only this, you can also switch between different calculations depending upon your preferences. For example, if you want to see the impact of each state, you can see that. So of this 22%, 7% was purely from Florida. You can also see what was the change in total number of visitors from each of these states between two dates. In this instance, between 6th and 7th May. So I can simply select on view and I can see there was a 30% increase in total number of visitors from Florida. Similarly, I can go to customer type and 26% increase in new returning users, while only 8% increase in new users. So this is how you read the driven by part of these observations. Similarly, we also present you the general trend that I was discussing about. So I will simply click on this next card and see here, you can see week over week comparison of the number of visitors that we're receiving, and you can switch between week over week, month over month, and year over year, and so on. Not only that, if you are further interested in dissecting and slicing and dicing this information with, say, mixing it with other metric and see if number of visitors increased, did it cause a corresponding increase in number of buyers as well? So you can do that by simply clicking on this analyze button. What that does is it takes you to a more detailed window where not only you can see the total duration for which this metric was monitored, but it also collects all other associated observations with it. It gives you a bird's eye view on that metric itself. In fact, if you want to compare and contrast it with other metrics, if visitors increase, did it caused increase in buyers? I can select that. Now, buyers generally are in certain ratio of visitors. So switch over to the log scale. So you can see there is a corresponding prevailing trend in the buyers as well. Now that I have added buyers here, I can see were there any observations for buyers, and similar to what we saw on the RCA cards here as well. Similarly, if you want to see additional dimensions that we are analyzing against it, you can switch over to this dimensional breakup chart, and it gives you by browser, by city, by your operating system, state, all of that detail can be seen here. So here you can see most of your visitors are using mobile Safari, followed by Chrome and Facebook at a close third. Similarly, I can switch over to referrer medium, and Facebook is the largest referrer, followed by Klaviyo and then Google. Now, if you want to share this insight with anyone, you can just click on this to share that, or you can simply click on back and go back to your original insight tab and scroll through it and look through other ones. There could be, this one is a standalone. Here is an example of a grouped insight where both conversion rate and one more item, which is AOV, showed a similar movement. Both of them declined, although the conversion rate declined by 40%, but AOV only declined by 4%. So you can see that detail as well, and then same interactions apply. If you like an insight, you can give thumbs up. If you think there is some scope to improve it, you can give thumbs down, or use this chatbot to start a conversation or seek help. And if you want to look for insight from different stores, you can click on this drop down and switch between sites or stores.